and I'm Hans.
I'm Daniel.
And today we're going to take you through the process of creating our track Mating Call, which we released this year on our own label Outplay. And yeah, I'm really psyched. We're really psyched to show you guys how we do, because we've been getting a lot of questions from your fans about how we make our tracks. So
let's dive into it.
Yeah, it started out as an edit at first. We had this idea, but it ended up being a lot more, so it became an original. So yeah,
let's first just have a listen to the original sample, which is like an Afro-ish track. And so yeah, in the beginning it was just adding beats and stuff like that, and having the idea to just make it an edit for playing out live. Yeah. But soon after we added a lot of other elements. You added the bass line, and we had the idea just to make it into an original. So yeah.
So this is
what we did.
Let's just play the.
Yeah, what maybe is nice just to see what's left of the sample that we just heard, because we ended up just using the organ part of the sample. Put it on track soon there. And it's heavily filtered. Like usually it's like this, and we just wanted to have like the mid part of the sound, so we could add a lot of other instruments on top of it, and it didn't clutter with the rest. And there's a sound shifter on it. I think it's just because we were playing in a different key, I think.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's we detuned it a bit. I see. It's just been a bit off. So you see when you sample from records, sometimes they are just a little bit off.
Yeah, so you need to get them in tune, and it's the best plugin for this. We use it a lot.
So yeah, the whole track, maybe it's a good idea just to play it a bit. Yeah, from here. You can hear the bass line is a big part of the track, so maybe just jump into the bass line, because
I think that's the main part, the hook of our track.
We didn't have this bass line in the beginning. It started just out with
the organ, and then we added some percussion and the kick drum and stuff like that.
Yeah, I wanted to go just to the first idea of the bass line we had, and we still kept it in the song, but it's ended up like the B part of the bass line of the track.
We'd like to work, when we're arranging something, a track, we like to work with different parts of a track, where you have one main hook, and then you switch it to make the story good, of a good story for the track. And so we end up, yeah.
This was the original bass line.
I recorded.
Played with our sub-fatty.
Yeah.
But we didn't feel like this was going to be like the main bass line for the whole track.
You couldn't carry it the whole.
So we worked on a different bass line, and it's a combination of 3 layers. Still, there's a Moog bass in it. We use a lot of Moog bass. And I started playing just this line. and we wanted to have a bit more like a guitar, bass guitar feel.
Because of the whole, we were still into that whole Afro live feel. What we usually do is make synthesizers or instruments we use sound organic. That's at least we aspire or try to, and make it as much as it's a bit
Lively,
like a live band. And so we used a top bass for just to broaden the sound a bit.
Yeah, we didn't have a bass guitar. Well, I'm not like a really good bass guitar player, so we used this sample package from Scarby, and
it's part of the Native Instruments package.
To give it that guitar feel. There's quite some processing on this, using pedals inside of Logic to give us some
Logic has some
funk.
great plugins, guitar pedals.
Scooping off the lows, even more highs with an exciter, putting it through a compressor, the UAD, and some delay. In this case, it's like a slap delay, tape delay-ish.
It's Echo Boy Jr. So from Soundtouch plugins. We use those plugins a lot. Great plugins, great package. Yeah, so that kind of makes the sound a lot more alive. Let's remove we can hear.
So we just go to top bass.
Yeah,
first.
the top bass. You hear it without any effects on it. That's the dry sound of this. Pretty straightforward.
I think like a real bass player can hear that's not really like a real bass player.
Yeah, so that's
Yeah.
okay. So you wanted to put it into a lot more, give it context as well on its own. So we added some guitar pedals, which you saw.
It's a lot more presence. It has a bit of room because of the delay. It doesn't have any lows because we have lows from the Moog bass. And from another bass, we wanted to give it a bit more body. And recently we bought this fantastic package, the Keyscape. I'll just close down these. From Spectrasonics, lovely plugin with Rhodes and piano, but also with Rhodes bass. And so this one is like a really low Rhodes bass line. Also, we took off the lows because all the lows are in the Moog and we don't want to get them all cluttered. And some other nice feature of this one is a bit detuned. And we wanted to...
One of the features of a lot of those Afro tracks feature a lot of slightly detuned instruments. And to kind of emulate that, we also, the top bass is detuned as well, about 20 cents. And the Keyscape bass on top of that is a little bit detuned as well. And when you combine it together, also with maybe just play the gives a kind of flowy feel.
It's singing a bit.
Yeah, but it really brings it alive.
And then together.
Brings it alive.
The top bass line also goes to an aux channel with a spring verb. We use spring verbs quite a lot, right?
Yeah, it's a sound effect,
gives this vintage echoey feel to it. It's just the top bass, only the top frequencies of the bass line. And then all the bass layers go to one aux channel, and we put some warm tape distortion on it just to glue it all together.
This is Fouk Filter Saturn, which is a
great plugin.
Great plugin, just to make it more compact, the bassline, make it feel like it's all one big instrument.
Yeah, and we love harmonic distortion.
So yeah, and it suits the guitar sound as well. So how this bassline came to be. We're just jamming. We had the part with it. Maybe we can play like without the bassline. Just mute the bassline. Yeah, and we had this part. Yeah. It's nice. It's kind of. And we were trying to find. We're missing a hook in this track, and I think I remember I started to hum something, and because I was humming a certain type of bass line, he played something, and I think it's the first thing we just immediately captured that, and that's I think essentially is the melody of the bass line that you hear right now. So it can go really quickly if you just leave the track be a little bit and just listen to it, and then this came and it ended up bringing the track to life. So we're quite kind of happy with how it turned out.
Let's dive into the drum parts.
Yeah, you can hear lots of percussion as well, which we'll get into. We record a lot of our own stuff, but the main thing is what we always start out is finding the right kick to complement the feel of the track. Some tracks you need like a lot more like punchy kick, and in this case we wanted to add to the whole live feel, so it sounds more like a
proper kick drum, like a real kick drum. Yeah, and I think it was like a package, like a new sample package we rediscovered. I think
so.
Yeah, and just by its own, it's
just play the drums.
Yeah, I'll just take off these plugins.
Yeah, all right.
It sounds really like a kick drum from a drum kit.
From drum kits.
And we wanted to give a bit more beef to it. So here's one of our favorite plugins, little radiator.
Also from Scientize, as you can see.
Yeah, on and off, you can hear it. It's a bit more distortion, a bit more beef. And then we thought, well, maybe it's a bit too much in the lows, just sculpting a bit. And we thought it was a bit like the sustain was a bit too long. So we have this transient master, and you can just easily take off a bit of the tail of the kick.
So
So that's.
So it's a little bit shorter the kick if you turn it off the.
With the EQ.
A lot longer tail end, because we have a lot of bass because of the bass line, and you want to have room to have the bass line breathe. And the kick has in the low end has a long tail, so if you cut that short, then it's a lot more. Yeah,
so when we were like in a later stage with the track, and we had everything together, we thought this kick could have a bit more punch, a bit more like top kick, especially when I was mixing. And so we put a 707 kick on top of it. Just take off the lows. Also add a little radiator, of course. And these two together, get this tick, this on top of it.
Which really
sounds, it sounds a bit like
mix.
So on its own, it sounds a bit like it's still a bit too much. But I'll show you in the mix. If you just have the original kick and mute this one. And now we have the 707. Punches through more. So without.
So it's nice to have a really a kick that's really deep in the mix, but on different kinds of systems, sound systems, it tends to not be noticeable as much as you'd like to, and so this extra punch makes it feel much more balanced.
Yeah, and also on smaller systems you can hear it better.
Systems, yeah.
We also used a sidechain with the original kick, like in the top here.
The big one, yeah.
Yeah, just to give like some room when the bass is playing. I don't think we put it on everything. It's just like on the bass line.
Usually we put it on the bass line, the basics of using the sidechain. Some instruments, but
yeah, we just make one aux channel with an compressor on top of it,
bus,
and then just route everything we like to go to the sidechain. But you can see here we every now and then we turn it off because in the breaks we don't want to hear that pumping sidechaining sound.
Yeah, if you hear it. So it has a lot more room. If there's no kick to if you add some people do. It kind of depends on what sound you're going for. But if you end up using sidechain here, so you hear the pumping sound and it kind of feels mechanical. So so you turn it off in the quiet bits.
But it depends on the song, of course.
Yeah.
Other stuff from the drums. There's
a hi-hat sample.
Yeah.
We use. Yeah.
We tend to combine like electronic drums with sampled drums, like in this case hi-hats, because it gives this vintage feel. Sometimes from a disco track, it sounds like real drum hats.
Just a simple
loop.
Simple loop that we use.
And we combine it with our TR-09 recording.
So a basic pattern from the TR-09, record that and combine it together with. That's the way we built up the basis of the track. Yeah. Pretty simple, pretty safe.
Yeah,
yeah. Then we have the finger snaps. We tend to use a lot of like snaps, claps. Sometimes we record them ourselves as well. And then this is good plugin from Logic itself, which is called Drummer. It's just like
double click. Yeah.
And like the Latin feel.
It's just an easy way to get quick results.
It's like Easy Drummer or
something like that. Like this Latin percussion package.
Because it's kind of like a stock plugin. We want to make it don't want to make it the centerpiece of the whole production, but it can fill up. It can work really quickly. You can fill up the whole percussion side of things really well.
Just show a bit of what we did on the channel.
Yeah. All right. So you have that Latin percussion.
We purposely put a bit crusher on top of it.
Yeah.
If
you can hear, this is the
dry.
The dry. It's pretty dry, straightforward. Some shaping, a paddleboard as well.
I think it's not turned on.
It wasn't?
No.
It was just kind of makes it a lot more gritty. This is I think we used this is a really good plugin called SDRR. It's version number 2. It's from Kleinhelm. You should get it, guys. It's a great plugin to if you like harmonic distortion or some bit crusher. And it's only €25, I think.
Yeah, it's really cheap.
We end up using it in a lot of our tracks in the mix. So, yeah, definitely a recommendation.
Yeah, we used the bit crusher because it changes the dynamics of the percussion a bit, and we had in mind to add a lot of percussion ourselves. We will show in a minute, and it gives a bit more room. It gives a bit of an edge to this like this basic Logic Latin percussion.
Yeah. Right.
Just one thing I wanted to tell is I think I did some site processing. You see, like only the highs from the sides in the stereo field, because I think at the time I thought it was a bit too wide.
Too wide.
Yeah. And some
the
from the lows.
well.
Yeah, maybe I think it's because of the SDR. It can generate a couple of low frequencies you don't want in the sides.
Especially with the Santos plugins or the SDR, it can make some, especially in the low, and make it a little bit too wide in the stereo field as well, which you don't want in the low end. Especially if you are releasing on trying to release it on vinyl as well. Those frequencies you don't want.
Yeah. So the rest of the percussion, we have a couple of instruments that I think we just bought them at the time that we made the track, right? Like this fake.
It was this music store was pretty close to the place where we recorded everything. So
we always wanted to have a cowbell, like a proper cowbell.
Kind of reminds me always like that SNL sketch. Add more cowbell. We love using cowbell, but yeah. It's easy to go overboard, so we always need to restrain ourselves a little bit. But it really added something to this one. There's a let's start off with a cowbell.
This one, right? Yes.
Yeah, it's that one.
There is a cowbell in the Latin percussion already, but together it can. This is like the. And then we added. It's a different one. Yeah.
That is a thumb piano. Yeah. There we go. Is it like the two cowbells are answering each other, you know, like you want an interplay. So yeah, we recorded to bring it a little bit more to life. We had the shaker. What you can hear over here is like.
And there's one funny accident at the end. That's funny.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a tape delay on top of that to fill it out a little bit more in the stereo field. But yeah, there's this funny thing when you record live.
That's Hans.
That was me. I was just, we were feeling very pleased with the recording style. Nice.
I think it was just you like ending the recording.
Yeah.
And that clap that you hear at the end, we use it on a different layer in the track.
This is used in the track. Kind of, which you hear a lot in all these vintage tracks from the 70s as well. You hear a lot of the backtrack of the musicians playing and having fun, and kind of gives that funk feeling, and which is just a spontaneous thing, which is great to just use. And that clap, we end up using that one as well. It's this clap, just. Like
with a nice slap back of the Echo Boy.
Yeah, it's just nice. It's another element to use in
arrangement.
So yeah, the Djembe, we recorded a Djembe, which is
this little one, and it's a funny story because. I got it from a friend of mine. He went on vacation. I think he bought it in France, not even like in an exotic country or something. But I just had it in my studio and never really used it. But then just for these tracks, we recorded it, and it has this ring, like
it's a cheap, really cheap.
Old socks.
Yeah.
And to just damp it a bit, I just put some socks into it, and I can. You still have this ring, and it's sounding a bit small,
Yeah, you for the to use it in this track, we really wanted to have the slaps, you know, that kind of you can hear that really well in the mix, and the bottom end doesn't need to be theirs. So
yeah, we use a lot of EQing to shape it, to get that ringing out of it. Maybe just turn off the plugins and the bus routing. So this is the dry recording. You hear this ringing. And that's the first EQ we used.
This one.
Yeah. The first shape is...
tightens it up a lot.
Yeah, no lows, especially the second EQ.
But yeah, you still hear that ring from the... so this is frequency. So that...
Now it sounds a lot more drier as well.
We didn't want that frequency. It's really annoying in the recording. So yeah, what you do is just in the EQ, this frequency, you start to find which you can really like. All right, it's around 430 hertz, and then just 430. Let's put it back where it was, and then just cut it from the mix, and voila. You have a nice and tight sounding Djembe. We want to give it a little bit more of a, it sounds really dry right now, so you want to give it a little more like it's recording in a session room.
Just do the Saturn first.
Yeah, alright.
Because we use this warm tape Saturn plugin a lot because there's a lot of peaks in the Djembe recording. And it's still sounding, yeah, and these ticks and clicks, they sound a bit thin. And if you use this plugin, it rounds it off really well.
It really fills it out and just makes it a little bit louder. It's like putting it through an amp or something.
So it's without. It's a bit compressed.
Yeah.
And then this plugin generates a lot of lows again. So after that, we use another EQ just to kill the lows and a bit of more shaping here.
So that's how you make a pretty crappy Djembe sound.
And then of course now it's dry sounding, so we have a couple of auxes on it. I think you just used the bottom ones. Like this one is going to an Echo Junior, Sound Toys again, of course. And this one is going to a little plate, also from Sound Toys. Yeah, it's a plate verb. Plate verb, really nice reverb, just simple one knob reverb. So it's like dry. Yeah. 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 So if you hear it in context, it kind of really meshes. It's always a bit loud, but yeah, kind of feels part of the whole. So yeah, that's one of the percussion. We have one percussion element. Yeah, which is really cool. Daniel bought it in Bali. He went to Bali and bought this thumb piano. Okay. It's not always usable because it's a bit off key. It's off key and it's really limited in its range, but so nice sounding. Yeah. So yeah, we recorded it. I think I was playing around with it and we ended up recording that, and this is. Just do without the plugins, really. Also with this instrument, there's a lot of ringing. You especially can hear long. From the yeah, that's like the instrument itself. Yeah. That kind of. But yeah, it kind of feels with the whole ethnic sounding Afro-ish feel. It's good. We wanted to use it. So at first you do a lot of EQing again. You see this really sharp cut because of that The resonance.
The resonance of shave off a little bit of the low end. Want to give it a little bit more body in the 1K, 2K area. Pretty simple as far as that goes.
And then a slap.
And then a slap delay to give it a... makes it really, really wide. Because there are a lot of instruments that are in the mix that are pretty much in the mid of the stereo mix. You kind of makes it sit, and you want to fill it out like the whole stereo field. You want to fill it out and give everything a place. And you want to make it's like a proper session band playing percussion. Thanks for watching. If you want to watch the full video, buy Computer Music magazine.